Hello, viewers, YouTubers, Facebookers, Twitters, Vampire Freaks, Instagrammers too. Didn't think I was gonna throw you under there, did you? Throw a line for you, but yeah, Instagram's been serious. I just got Instagram myself like a few weeks back. This is yours truly, Donovan Kelly, coming at you, aka Coffee Babe. This is I want to say it's still May the 19th, 2013. It's like 12:45 a.m. or something, going on to be Monday morning. I don't go by that whole stupid rule like it's midnight, so it's a new day. I don't know. It's still the day before the new day has arrived, legally, to me at least. Before I get into this video is going to be pretty much talking about my inspiration and my experience with spirits and apparitions and ghosts and all that good stuff. Now, I'm not bashing anybody in any way, shape, or form. I know there's a lot of skeptics, non-believers, whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to say this, rule of thumb. Real shit. Skill shit. Just because you don't believe in something, so a lot of people say, oh, I believe in this, and that does not mean it's going to disappear. It's not mean it's not going to materialize. It doesn't mean it does not exist. It's still there. Sure, you can say you don't believe in something. You got people out there skeptics. They don't believe in this. They don't believe in that. That's understandable. A ghost is a fucking ghost. Simple as that. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm not going to shove religion down your throat. I'm not like a lot of other people that try to make you, oh, you better do this or you're going to go to hell, or that's not what I want to do. Do what you want. You know, whatever. But a ghost is a ghost. Whether you believe in it or not, there's spirits. Whether you believe in it or not, there's apparitions. Whether you believe in it or not, there's orbs. There's things out there. So, it is what it is. Accept it. Whatever. Live life. I don't know. But just know when you die or pass away that you're something after that point besides being dug up under the ground, put in this fancy Cartier wood, if you will. It exists. So just because you don't believe in it does not mean it exists. Once you get it out there, not shoving down anyone's throat. Do what you do, live life. I'm open-minded, so you gotta worry about me. Oh, you better do this or you might go to hell. I'm not into that shit. I was a Christian for so many years of my life. I'm not a Christian anymore. It's Sunday. I'm kind of like not sober. So if the camera angles decide to do some crazy stuff like, ooh, this or that, or, you know, kind of crazy spiral type situation, you'll know why. But subscribe me if you haven't. Inbox me, outbox me, comment me. No rude, stupid shit, because I will block you. This vlog is going to be pretty much talking about my experience with ghosts and or apparitions and spirits. And this is real shit. It's not something I made up. You know, these are things I witnessed out in my life. If I could record it on camera, I would show you guys. But anyway, as you guys know, I did not always live in the D, as they say. As a kid growing up, I lived in Highland Park my whole life, which is weird enough for me because, in a sense where itself, like, I didn't know that we lived in that area till my mom told me till I was a little older. And I say a little older. I'm 30 today, so I'm going to let you do the math. I'll say about, my mom didn't tell me that till I was like 27, 28, somewhere around that ballpark. I never knew we lived in Highland Park. I want to put that much out there at least. I don't say where and all that because it's none of your damn business. Seriously. But I'll say about 87, 88, somewhere around that ballpark at a hard point. My parents decided to move from there to the southwest part of Detroit. Okay. And as you know, I was still a kid. This was about 1986. So I was about 11, 10 years old, somewhere around that ballpark. My parents decided to look at a house somewhere in Detroit. Okay. And they go, yeah, you know, let's move to Detroit. And I was still a kid, so everything was fresh to the surface for me. So I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And I'm telling you now, if you're scared of ghosts and spirits and stuff, just turn away from the camera. Because this video is not for you. This is a real, true story. It's no bullshit doctored up and spiced up and... yeah, exactly. So, anyway, my parents go, yeah, we're going to move to somewhere in Southwest Detroit. So my parents moved to this house over in Southwest Detroit. And, you know, my mom's a hardcore Christian. My dad, he does his own little thing, whatever. I'm an ex-Christian. Mind you, I was baptized, so it's harder for me to kind of be a practicing witch to fall out of that category. Christianity was just not for me. It's a long story. I made several videos about it on YouTube about why and what and the reason, the situation for it. We'll talk about that later on. You know, it's May, summer's almost here. So, but anyway, parents go, yeah, let's get this house over in Southwest Detroit on this, you know, I'm not going to mention the street name because I know you guys are my friends, I love you, but some things are kept under lock and key. Because this is internet, people, so, yeah. So parents like, yeah, let's get this house in Southwest Detroit. They buy it, and a hardcore Christian like my mom, a very strong woman, the tradition is to pray over the thing. You get a new home, you pray over it. You exercise, you make sure there's nothing evil and everything else in it, because you don't know who to do it for, right? Now this is where the juicy part comes in. Ghosts, apparition, spirits, right? So my parents, they go to the house in broad daylight. At least this is the way my mom recited this story. My dad never told me it. My mom said it several times, and she didn't tell it to me directly, but I heard her talking to her friends and whatnot, and you know, her co-workers and everything like that, and her family members and stuff, her female family members and stuff like that. Time we go over it, my mom would always tell a story all the time, even as a kid. Now I heard it not too long ago again as a 30-year-old adult. It's probably 1982, so I'll let you do the math. I heard her talk about the story again to somebody. And the couple that, you know, that sold the home to my mom and dad, and they bought it, it's completely theirs now. Mortgage and all that gets high, you know, as the years go by. Mr. and Mrs. Murphy were this couple's name. They were an older couple, I'll say about 60, 70, you know, in their early 60s and 70s. Mr. Murphy, cool guy. He passed away, alright. Mrs. Murphy, which is his daughter, or I mean, not his daughter, I'm sorry. Mr. Murphy, which is his wife. Mr. and Mrs. Murphy was the ones that were the landlords that sold the home to my mom and dad. Mind you, Mrs. Murphy is still alive. She's got, you know, a few daughters, a few sons, whatever, etc., etc. Okay? Here's where the juicy part comes in, is about ghosts. So all these skeptics out there, non-believers, just listen to this. Once again, not shoving down your throat. You're a non-believer, that's fine. I don't care. That's your thing. You don't believe in ghosts. I don't care. But like I said before, just you don't believe in something don't mean it does not exist. I say I don't believe in a certain kind of cheeseburger, but I'll go to a bar and it's right there in front of my fucking face. I'm going to take a fucking bite out of it. Even if I believe it or not. It's going to disappear in my abdomen. Anyway, even though I'm not one for burgers. But anyhow, parents go, yeah, we'll rent this house, you know, and to buy it. You know, my dad, he's got a good career for him. You know, my mom, she had a good career for her. Sometimes she's like, right now she's retired from what she used to do. And mind you, Mr. and Mrs. Murphy was a great couple. They had kids, they had grandkids. This was in 1980 something. This story is still, my mom tells it, even to today, 2013. Okay? And like I said, step away from the camera if you're not ready to hear this. This is true shit. This is real stuff. So my mom and dad, they get out their vehicles, whatever vehicles they're on. I think my mom and dad had like a, I don't know, freaking Ford Tempo or one of those little small cars. Like I said, I was a kid, so you gotta bear with me. I I remember that shit. That was like 20, 30, 40 years ago. I'm 30 today. So they're like, yeah, well, you know, they get on the phone with Mrs. Murphy, which is Mr. Murphy's, wife. But yeah, we'll buy the house for you, from you. You know, we could pay it, work out a payment plan. She goes, okay. She's about 54 or something like that at the time. So my mom and dad signed the papers, willing to behold, they signed the papers. And Mrs. Murphy goes, yeah, come back the next day because my husband's out, you know, he's a house broker, so he's out like, well, not, you know, people that sell homes to people, was that real estate, realtor, however you say that. Like, yeah, Mr. Murphy is probably out, you know, selling houses or something. Something like that. That's what was going through my mom and dad's head. Like, why is she only renting the house to us? Where's her husband? You know, of course she's got kids, but they're out to take care of their kids. So my mom and dad didn't think nothing of it. And Mrs. Murphy go, yeah, come back the next day because I'll be here. My mom did think to the point in their mind like, well, why would she only be there? Where's her and her husband at, right? So the next day, my mom and dad come back in the morning time, okay? And they'd had no idea that this Mr. Murphy was her husband that was already deceased. Listen to me, okay? Now you got little things jumbled up, I don't know. But I'm telling this as plainful in hindsight as I could tell it. Ghosts are there and they're there to stay. They have a right to be on planet Earth just as we do. And it's being a practicing witch or just a witch at all. We're not supposed to fear that kind of stuff. They have a right to be on planet Earth just as we do. They just don't realize that they passed on yet. Gotta give them time to do so. So anyhow, long and behold, parents go, yeah, you know, my dad goes, yeah, to my mom, yeah, we need to go check out that house, you know, and see if Mrs. Murphy now is in. Mind you, Mrs. Murphy had another career, all right? She had other stuff going for herself. Besides just selling houses, she had another, like, job or career or whatever. So they go to the house the next day, my mom and dad, and a guy greets him. Plain as day. I don't know what kind of outfit he had or whatever the hell it was. I don't know, whatever realtors wear when they're older. So, my mom goes to the house, and it was funny because when my parents called the day before they went to the house, Mrs. Murphy had already said, like, yeah, you know, just sit there. I should be there not too long, you know. I got to drop my grandsons off to school. They get to the house, long and behold, someone's at the door and greets my mom and dad and say, hey, come in, Mrs. and Mrs. Kelly. Yeah, come in, Mrs. and Mrs. Kelly. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Are you Mr. Murphy? And the guy goes, yes. You know, older guy, white, gray hair, you know. I don't know about anything else, what kind of description it was. They walk in, mom, dad walk in, and everything else, and they walk in and go like, oh yeah, your wife wants you to show us the place around. Mr. Murphy goes, oh yes, well, you know, my wife's off at work or something, or picking the grandsons up, or the grandkids up, whatever, but I'll show you the place. So, with everything said and done, Mr. Murphy, which is Mrs. Murphy's husband, shows them the place, shows them around, shows them mom and dad, you know, living room and all that good stuff, the dining room, the dining area, the bathrooms, the bed, you know, everything else, the closet doors. Oh yeah, thanks, Mr. Murphy. And Mr. Murphy goes, I'm going to go downstairs now, and you guys meet me down there. So my mom and dad's walking around like, oh cool, you know. They go, cool, you know, we'll meet you down there in a minute. We just want to check out the last, you know, the living room. Long and behold, my mom and dad go down the basement. Because Mr. Murphy said, yeah, meet me down the basement when you guys are done. They go down the basement. Now, remember, people, Mr. Murphy answered the door in full flesh form. He was not transparent or any of that kind of thing. My mom and dad go down the basement Saw him walk down the basement. Tell me why when they walked down the basement, he was gone. A glimpse of an eye. Gone. Disappeared. There's no vehicle. This was out in plain daylight. No vehicle. Nothing. In front of the house. They walk down the basement and they go, hey, Mr. Murphy. He's gone. The drop of a dime, blinking of an eye. My mom and dad had just, and I kid you not, just had a ghost landlord. Now isn't that fucking something? Mrs. Murphy was off at her day job or picking her grandkids up, whatever she was going. Mr. Murphy had just disappeared off the face of the earth. So my mom and dad goes, like, oh wow, well maybe he went out. You know, it didn't really apply to my parents that maybe, you know, he passed away. They didn't think nothing of it, you know. And the next day, they call Mrs. Murphy, which is Mr. Murphy's wife. You go like, you know, they're talking on the phone or whatever. And mom and dad goes, yeah, your husband already rented the house to us. We gave him some money, a little bit of money up front to rent the house to us over there in the house. She goes, Miss Murphy goes, wait, what? Mr. and Mrs. Kelly? What do you mean? Gave him half the money where? How did you give him half the money? He goes, yeah, we went into our, our files. He had us to sign the papers and everything, make sure everything was lenient and legal and everything else like that. And Miss Murphy goes, that's impossible because my husband, Mr. Murphy we're referring to, which is Mrs. Murphy's husband. She goes, that's impossible, Mr. and Mrs. Kelly, which is my parents. My husband's been dead for over 25 years. Now, isn't that crazy? My mom and dad, and I'm not bullshitting you, I'm not pulling your chain or your leg or whatever. They had just had a apparition landlord in full-fledged form, just like me and you, no see-through, to rent to buy my parents a house in full-fledged form. This Mr. Murphy has been dead for over 25 years. Now what kind of crazy stuff is that? You're going to sit here and tell me I'm making this up? I would have you guys to talk to my mom and you could ask her. This is the same story she passed down to me since I was a kid. Now I had another sibling. I don't get along with him. He's a boy. He's my ex-brother or whatever. But my mom has said and told the story 50 million times. And to this day, I'm 30 years old and I'm still creeped out by it. This happened right in our house. This very house I grew up in Southwest Detroit. Now, if ghosts don't exist, explain that. How the hell does a ghost sell a house to my parents? That's what she said. She goes, that's impossible, Mr. and Mrs. Kelly. My husband has been dead for over 25 years. Now, how does a ghost rent, or sell a house to anybody? And I knew that in the back of my mind, there was something about that house. And to this day, I knew that something was telling me to, like, I was not, in the back of my mind, I was not going to always be a Christian all my life because that was weird. Even today, it's weird. Now, sure, there's a lot of skeptics out there that's probably watching this video, non-believers, whatever. But I'm just giving you my little slice of paradise, what happened in my life. I'm giving you my chapter. This is what my mom says, and she just told this story again to some more people on the phone. She's talking to some like plumbers or something. Because we had a pipe problem in our flood in our basement. Just telling them. Disappeared. They went down the basement. Miss Murphy goes, yeah, okay, sign you guys' paper and bring it down the basement. He's gone. Glimpse of an eye. Doesn't that, I'm not even so much creeped out about it. It makes me want to cry to know that people don't respect the dead enough, because that's the problem. People, they're narrow-minded. I wouldn't say that because it was along the lines of someone else saying something like that. People are too close-minded and not even, they're undermined, close-minded not to expand their differences beyond everything else. Ghosts have a right to be on planet Earth just as we do. spirits have a right to be on planet Earth just as we do. And not enough people understand that. They're too creeped out and saturated by Hollywood's fucking bullshit they have on TV. That story's been told to me a million times, and I done felt things in that house. And I grew up in the house. I was a fucking 8 years old. I was a baby. I'm 30 years old. And I'm telling you my story of what happened. That's just not... It's not accurate for that to happen. That's crazy. Who the hell, sells someone a house in full flesh form, and then my parents go down in an instant, and it's gone. So that's what this video is pretty much all about. I'm not trying to shove nothing down you guys' throat. Believe what you want. You're non-believer, you're skeptic, etc., whatever. I'm telling you my experience, what happened to me. This brings a tear to my eye. That's all I gotta say. It's Diamond Kelly signing off, aka Occulted Babe. Have subscribed me, do yourself a kindness favor, subscribe me, inbox me, outbox me. I don't want any insults or any of that kind of thing. I am a practicing witch. I am punk alternative. And for the life of me, please, understand that ghosts and apparent spirits have a right to be on planet Earth just as we do. In regards to one other thing, my friend Gabby, please just leave her alone. Quit fucking with her, That's all I gotta say about that. We as a friends, as human beings together, we need to just quit this bullshit, because it ain't working. To enemies, you guys could fuck off. I got nothing more to say to you. I'm not gonna shove nothing down your throat. If you're real with me, you're real. You're fake, then I have no time for you. Subscribe and add me. For the record too, I am not straight. I thought I'd throw it in there. Oh, you're bleeding your life out all over the internet, and I'm open-minded, so I don't really give a shit what no one thinks. But yeah, from one witch to another, so mote be and blessed be. And Gabby's an awesome woman. So all you people that are fucking up out there and not being friends with her, I feel sorry for you more than you feel sorry for yourself. Because Gabby is a woman not to be fucked with. Believe me. So that's all I gotta say. With that being said, that's my take on apparitions, spirits, and ghosts. And that's real shit, because my mom don't lie, That's all I gotta say. Subscribe if you already haven't. Inbox me, outbox me. Awesome person, awesome videos. Diamond Kelly sign off, aka Occulted Babe. May the 20th now, 2013, on a Monday morning. You guys have a good night, all my witches and pagans. And, practicing witches like myself, so let it be and blessed be. Bye-bye. Later.